And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, "Come and see." And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth, to kill with sword, and with hunger, and with death, and with the beast of the earth. Revelation chapter 6, verse 7 and 8. Shalom. I want to start off by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Racha Kodash, and double honors to our venerable apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well, and peace and blessings to the Lord's elect, the house of David. All right, so Brother Haran coming back at you with another lesson, and Lord willing to be edifying and uplifting unto the elect. All right, I have this article I want to jump into real quick, and this is dated May the 20th, and I believe today is the 22nd, so 2 days ago. All right, and the title goes, "The Hudat Adopts Demic Treaty, Expanding Its Power Over Disease Management Worldwide." All right, and like I said, Lord willing, this be quick and edifying unto the elect. All right, ultimately, all this is part of the warning. Okay, the Heavenly Father, all right, through the many different apostles, disciples, ultimately prophets, okay, that you see around the world, starting from my elders and apostles of Great Millstone on down, we've been warning and warning and warning of times that's yet to come, known as the time of Jacob's trouble, the time of great tribulation. Okay, that has never been witnessed upon the face of the earth before. And we're seeing every single day, we're seeing how all these things are actually going to culminate and be manifested. Okay, you see the advancements of AI alongside the changing of laws to enable Esau to actually be able to do these things. All this innovation and so on and so forth is all leading to that time of trouble. Okay, because for years they've been conditioning the minds of people, you know, from childhood, you go to school, all the way to adulthood when you're in work, all right, and just dealing with the world as a whole. All right, we've all been conditioned to accept the so-called New World Order that's coming. Okay, and as the scriptures tell you, all right, that they're going to do it through what? Deception, and also through what? Through their pharmakia. Okay, their drugs and so on and so forth. All right, so one of the biggest pushes is with the Hudat. Okay, and they're the forefront of these Vanessa's being pushed around the world, as they say, global. Okay, the what's that? Public health of international concern. Okay, so let's read. Soon we're gonna have that. All right, so let's read. It says, "The World Health Assembly, the governing body of the World Health Organization, composed of its member states, formally adopted the long-debated Demic Agreement on Tuesday." All right, the Demic Agreement is basically the One Accord treaty that they were pushing a couple of years ago. All right, and they had all these pushback. And remember, we said that, hey, they might not have had it right now. They were going through all the battles and so on and so forth. The reason why they're going through all those battles was to figure out how they can circumvent the laws and the constitutions here, if you're in America, right? Different things that gives people some form of autonomy and a form of push against being forced against their will, right? So that was the main reason why they couldn't proceed with this accord thing, because you have 194 countries that in the state of a global health demic, they all have to adhere to what the WHO is going to say. Okay, so it centralizes that medical power, which then you become a medical dictatorship, if you will. The WHO will dictate everything that these other states or countries, they call them states, but these countries are all going to have to do. Meaning your governments and your medical systems in various countries will have to be in line with what the World Health Organization is saying. All right, and that means that the citizens will have to be in that line. Okay, they're gonna have to comply. All right, if not, there's gonna be different consequences. That's why they're working so hard to see how they're gonna bring these things about in order to stop as much resistance as possible. Okay, because here it is, you have 5 years removed from the CV demic, and 4.5 years removed from the jump shot being coerced upon the people. They said 65%, 65, 66% of the global population took the jump shot, whether it's one shot or multiple shots, they took it. 65 to 66%. So that's 2/3 of the global population. All right. And we know, all right, how pivotal that number 2/3 is, especially if you're here in Babylon the Great. All right. So it's very symbolic that about 65 or 66% of people took it. And it's about 2/3 of the global population. That's a lot of people. Okay. And according to their own so-called laws, all right, whether it be human laws or state laws or whatever, they saying that those people who took it, all right, they are not considered regular human beings anymore, because now they've been injected with a patented so-called drug that's in their body that's currently making changes to their so-called DNA. All right. And those changes being done through mRNA, right? Those changes being done is what's is why they have to come up with these laws so that they can be protected. So you can't really fight against it because those laws will only apply to those who took it. So you become subject to those so-called laws that they're creating right now. Okay, they create mischief by law. Okay. Anyway, so let's continue. It says, according to Breitbart, this international legal framework is designed to bolster global cooperation. All right, bolster global cooperation, meaning have the whole world in a gridlock where you're not going to have one country, maybe like 10 countries are doing it, and then maybe 2-3 countries are just like, nah, we just have autonomy. We're not with this. Nah, they don't want that. So they want to bolster global cooperation, endemic preparedness, and response by committing signatory nations to share initiatives and prioritize equitable health care distribution. What does that mean? All nations should come together to exhibit or to push out the Vanessas that WHO is going to be given out. All right, because when WHO is giving out these things, they pass it down to the countries, to the governments, to the medical overlords, so to speak. And then the public has to go in line and go take these things. This is all preparation for the MOTB. All these things that you see being done is all in the preparation for that whole concept of transhumanism. Whether it be climate change or Vanessa and all these different things that you're seeing, all these things, AI build up and all that, is all to what? To facilitate transhumanism. Okay, and the first step into transhumanism, all right, is not just these Vanessas being given, but also the MOTB. Okay, all these steps lead to the MOTB, because after that, you're pretty much there. Okay, so continuing, it says, so they're saying that to what? Enhance Vanessa initiatives. Okay, so coercion is going to come in big time, right? Initiative simply means they're going to come up with creative ways to thin the herd. Those who resist, you're going to have a harder time in society. Okay, it says, and prioritize equitable healthcare distribution. In other words, equitable means equal distribution. Give it out everywhere. Ain't no, oh, well, underserved communities, they can't really get it because, no. Everybody getting it. Rich, poor, everyone. All right, he calls it all. Okay, it says the Demic Agreement, which had undergone military multiple revisions since its inception in 2021, was initially dubbed the Hudat Convention Agreement, or other international instrument on endemic prevention, preparedness, and response. This is crazy. Reflecting disagreements among drafters over its final designation. Its formation was largely a response to widespread criticism of the Hudat handling the CV-19 outbreak, particularly during its early stages in Wuhan, China. The V virus, which became a global demic, has since claimed more than 7 million lives worldwide. I wonder what other diseases claims millions of people a year too. That's not just a damn Vanessa or a damn virus that these people are pushing to be. Again, this is all propaganda. Okay, many different forms of it. So continuing, it says, he has also cited Oh no, Slack. It says the Huda Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus has defended the organization, attributing its limited response during the COVID-19 crisis to a lack of sufficient authority and global coordination. What does that mean? It means that he's saying that, look, the reason why you had all these things happen during the test, which was CV, was because we didn't have enough power and enough, say, right, in what these countries were doing and what certain things that we couldn't implement that these citizens will have to be subject to. So in order for us to really, take care of all this stuff in case it happens again or when it happens again, we got to have, complete power so we can tell you what to do so we can mitigate a lot of these things from happening, from spreading and shit like that, So that's the push now. All right. To have access, it says it was a lack of sufficient authority, meaning they didn't have enough power, and global coordination, meaning countries were not listening to everything that the Huda was saying when they were saying it. Okay, meaning the people were not with it. You had a lot of resistance. Okay, people marching streets and so on and so forth. It happened. All right, they try to mask it with all kinds of different things like, oh, the George Floyd protest and all that. That's all part of it. It's to mask or to quell the actual voices that are screaming out against this type of shit. It says he also cited economic inequality as a key factor in the disproportionate impact of the virus on developing countries. Really? So now the virus is affecting people who are poorer than people who are rich. And the argument is going to be, oh yeah, because the rich countries, they're implementing the things that we gave them. They're technologically sound. So the virus doesn't really kill them too much. First of all, when this whole CV thing started, they said there was a curfew. You couldn't go out at night, or some shit. It was some weird shit. Lockdowns. Remember how they try to explain it away? You can't be seen outside. You can't go outside because the virus be outside. We're like, what? Hey man, but hey, you know what? Those of us who stood firmly, the Lord delivered us, man. Those who didn't fall prey to all the BS. You had these Israelite leaders talking about, oh, one said, if you have to do it, go do it. Because if you got to travel and shit like that, you got to go take it. And the other one said, yo, what are you scared of the so-called white man, his needle? Man, you better go take it. Yeah, I took 4 of them bad boys type shit. That's what he was saying. One of them, right? So we know what kind of so-called leaders those people are. All right, they're setting their people up for failure by not preparing you to know that, hey, there's a huge test coming, and it's going to be mixed with a whole lot of things that's going to make you doubt. All right, what the hell is going on? And only the elect are going to be able to go through the huge storm that's coming and prevail. Okay, because Yahushua already said that that he shall keep us in the hour of temptation, man. All right. So when that time comes, man, those who are not, you don't push the name of the Lord. You don't live by the name of the Lord. All right. You do what you want to do, how you want to do it. Well, when the time comes, the Lord is going to show you something. Anyway, so continuing back in the article, it says, according to Dr. Tedros, countries with advanced pharmaceutical capabilities, primarily the United States, should ease intellectual property protections during global health emergencies to enable wider and more affordable access to medical products. You hear that? That is just the double speak or Spanglish way of saying, look, we need to have the United States slow down on the copyrights and the patents and stuff like that, because once this thing hits again, we can't be sitting around trying to take people to court and say, this says this and we can't have this in our body. No. We have to bypass that. Okay, where it's an emergency and we have to do things to make sure that this emergency has been quelled. So that means that if we come out with a Vanessa that you got to take, there should be no pushback on that. There should be absolutely no pushback on that, because we're doing it to what? To help the people, to protect the people's health. And it's an emergency. Why the hell are we sitting around looking for, oh, is this legal? Is this part of the legislation? Is this part of the Constitution? Is this I have my constitutional rights? Nah, we don't have time for that. Okay. It says to address such concerns, the agreement establishes a pathogen access and benefit sharing, which is PABS system, PABS. This initiative is aimed at promoting global collaboration by sharing both medical innovations and emerging pathogen data among nations, along with allowing more scientists to contribute to crisis response efforts. Whoa, it's very interesting. The final draft of the agreement was completed in April and received 124 votes in the favor during the World Health Assembly session. According to a Reuters report, 11 countries abstained, including Iran, Israel, and Russia. Ooh, interesting. So they wasn't trying to be a part of that, right? It says, yet key opponents such as the United States and Argentina were notably absent from the for the vote, having previously withdrawn from the WHODAT. That's interesting, right? And over here, Trump is saying that he's going to create his own, basically his own version of the WHO. All right, they're not going to do this. They're not going to force you to do anything. But guess what? You're not going to be here 24/7. All right, to make sure that they're not doing this and that. Nah, the whole plan is to convince people that we're done with the WHODAT. So everything that we come up with from any pandemic that's going to hit in the future is all from us. We're doing it to take care of our people. You know, we're not going to be listening to somebody from WHODAT who doesn't even know what's going on just to tell us what to do. Nah. All right. It says, let me see. Right. So it says, United States and Argentina were notably absent from the vote, having previously withdrawn from the WHO. So yeah, back to what I was saying, that ultimately these countries are all part of the plan. Again, it's all to make the people feel at ease, right? It's to make people feel at ease. Meanwhile, these things are happening behind the scenes. Okay. It says the agreement's opening sections emphasize the importance of equity as a goal, principle, and outcome in endemic management. That is crazy. Equity is a goal, principle, and outcome. So everyone has to have it equal, right? All, right? It also touches on broader themes such as climate change and other social political considerations. Very interesting. Why would the World Health Organization be interested in climate change? And social political consideration. Interesting. One of its most significant provisions requires manufacturers to commit via binding contracts to provide a WHO with access 20% of their real-time production of Vanessa's treatments and diagnostics during the declared pandemic. Wow. So, this is crazy. Yeah, this is about to get crazy. Damn. It says the WHODAT will be responsible for distributing these supplies based on public health needs, with an emphasis on supporting developing countries. Esau. They want to go knock out all the jigs that's in different countries right now. They want to go take them out. All right, before they make their way out here. Okay, talking about developing countries. Esau, bro. They never developed. Like, they're still developing. Like after all these years. Oh goodness. Esau. So furthermore, the document encourages participating states to adapt their domestic. Wow. Let me see. Hold on, Slack. Let me bring it back. It says furthermore, the document encourages participating states to adapt their domestic laws. I said domestic. I'm like, whoa. All right, their domestic laws to ensure alignment with the agreement's provisions. Ooh, let's check that. Where is that in the scriptures? Let's see. Here's a book of Psalm, chapter 94, and start off at verse 20. It says, "Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law?" Okay, so they're saying, furthermore, the document encourages participating states to adapt their domestic laws to ensure alignment with the agreement's provisions. Meaning it becomes binding. Whatever it is that who that, like I said before, whatever they say, it goes from, it's like a top-down model, okay? Whatever they say from the top goes down to every single individual. We're all going to be faced with these decisions that they're going to be making, okay? And they're going to be coming down heavy on our channels on something like, oh, there's medical misinformation and this is disinformation and all this extra shit, because we're exposing them. We're messing up their plans. They're seeing that, damn, if these guys weren't here, telling the people what's really going on, we would have made a whole lot more progress in our agenda. It's these guys, these conspiracy theorists. They're the ones who are slowing us down because they put in evidence and everything together. The evidence that we give out to them, they take it and then they show it to the world. We're not trying to give them that kind of shit, man. The world doesn't understand what we just said, but these guys do. That's how they be feeling about the prophets, man. You see? So there's a problem there. That's why there's a conflict, a huge conflict, man. They're looking for a way to get at that conflict. They're noticing every day that they cannot escape, all right, the destiny that the Lord has set for them. So eventually they're going to try to shut us up in hopes that, oh, well, if they stop talking about it, then it's not going to happen. But you'd be sadly mistaken. So continue, it says, it also calls for improved biological risk management in laboratories, blah, blah, skip that. While proponents hailed the Demic Accord agreement as a step forward in global health collaboration and equity, critics warn it may infringe on national sovereignty and legal autonomy. Ooh. It says its implementation and the willingness of countries to adhere to its commitments will likely determine its long-term effectiveness. Wow. And that's the end of that article. Okay, but like I said, I'm not going to make this too long. All right, let's get this last precept here and then we're going to close it out. But basically, you see what's going on. That they didn't give up. They didn't stop. They just repackaged and they're coming right back again. All right. So let's read. It says, Book of Job, chapter 13 and verse 4. It says, But ye are forgers of lies. Ye are all physicians of no value. Right. So what need do we have in a so-called Rockefeller medical system? Right. Now you have the who dat jumping in there. Come on, man. Come on, man. It's about to be a wrap. All right, it's about to be a wrap. And they're doing all these things, like I said before, I've said in previous videos. They got Christine Lagarde out here talking about, well, the only step that's left is to basically get the legislative part straightened out, and then they're going to be good to go. Meaning your laws are going to change, and people are going to be subject to a lot of draconian laws, whether they like it or yes. Anyway, I'm going to leave it off there. Lord willing, you are edified and informed. In closing, I'd like to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Racha Kodash, the Wadi Yahweh Bahashem Yahushai. Until next time, Shalom.